Hey everybody, Mr. Dustin here. Welcome to Bible class once again. I wanted to take just a minute and review what we talked about on Sunday. If you remember, we were talking about a person, a son of encouragement is actually what his name means. What was his name? Barnabas, right? Now, let me ask you, what do you remember about Barnabas? What were his talents? And I may have actually given it away already just because I told you what his name means. But how are those talents of being an encourager, how are they helpful for the kingdom, for the body of Christ? Those are important things to remember. We can build each other up. We can encourage one another to keep going. So today, we're going to be looking at a little bit more about Barnabas. Now in Acts chapter 13, there's a send-off of Barnabas and Saul on their first missionary journey. They go with a group of other men and they encounter some different things on that journey. But whenever you get to Acts chapter 15, we read about a very sharp disagreement between Barnabas and Paul. And we just kind of go, what happened? So let's look at that. Let's see about this disagreement. This is in chapter 15. We're going to start in verse 36 and read through 41. Sometime later, now this is after their first trip, Paul said to Barnabas, "Let us go back and visit the believers in all the towns where we preach the word of the Lord and see how they are doing." Barnabas wanted to take John, also called Mark, with them. But Paul did not think it wise to take him, because he had deserted them in Pamphylia and had not continued with them in the work. They had such a sharp disagreement that they parted company. Barnabas took Mark and sailed for Cyprus. I skipped a space there. But Paul chose Silas and left, commended by the believers to the grace of the Lord. He went through Syria and Cilicia, strengthening the churches. Okay, so what just happened there? Barnabas and Paul, they disagreed. What did they disagree about? Whether or not they should take John Mark with them. And it says that they had such a sharp disagreement that they went their separate ways. But what did Barnabas do? It says that Paul really thought John Mark should not come with us, because if you remember in Acts chapter 13 verse 13, John Mark left and returned to Jerusalem and they went on to Pamphylia. He abandoned them in a sense, and Paul didn't really like that. But what did Barnabas do? If you read verse 39, they parted company. But who did he take with him? He took John Mark with him. Barnabas brought Mark, even when Paul didn't think it was a good idea. So we don't necessarily have a lot more information about that trip that they went on, but I think it's interesting that he took John Mark with him. If you were John Mark, how would you feel about that? I would be very encouraged by Barnabas being willing to take me with them. Seems something that only a son of encouragement, only an encourager could really do, someone that builds bridges between people. He's willing to give Mark that second chance that Paul wasn't willing. Barnabas really changed John Mark's future, at least his immediate future. He went from not getting to go to getting to go on a mission trip. Now, have you ever considered the power that is found in encouragement? Have you ever thought about the importance of seeing the best in others and being a bridge builder between people, as opposed to a divider of people, somebody who separates people or leaves people out? Sometimes we do need to hear a very powerful preacher like Paul. But many times we just need an encourager like Barnabas, someone who will come along and lift up their spirits. I don't know about you, but life can be really difficult sometimes and very challenging. So people who are encouragers are so very valuable to us during those seasons. And the good news is that anyone and everyone can be an encourager. We can all be, in the kingdom of God, somebody that encourages others, that we can cultivate that practice, that gift of encouragement. You can be a Barnabas too. So you can make a difference in somebody's life just by being kind and loving and encouraging to them. And that gift of encouragement can take on the form, or many different forms depending on the situation. But I want to read a few passages together that are about encouragement. This comes from Proverbs chapter 12, verse 25. It says, "Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up." Ephesians 4, verse 2 and 3. "Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace." James 3 and 18. "Peacemakers who sow in peace reap a harvest of righteousness." Think about what Barnabas did for John Mark. He was keeping the peace there between them. Encouragers are oftentimes peacekeepers. 1 Peter 1:22. "Now that you have purified yourselves by obeying the truth so that you have sincere love for each other, love one another deeply from the heart." We encourage people because we love them. And then Hebrews 10:23 through 25. "Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how we may spur one another on, or encourage one another on, toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." I want to ask you, take a minute with your family, and I said some things about these, but take a minute with your family and talk about this. What do these scriptures have to do with encouragement? How do they relate to encouragement? And then we'll come back and talk some more. So it may be that Barnabas was just gifted and bent towards encouragement. But like we said earlier, it is something that we can cultivate in us, and we should all strive to do, to be an encourager. But why? Why should we try to encourage one another? I think ultimately because we love each other. 1 John 4:19 says, "We love because he first loved us." I think encouragement is built around love for each other. So I want to sing this song with you. It's probably one that you know, and you can sing with me. It comes from number 703 in the Songs of Faith and Praise, which is your blue songbook if you have one. It sings this way. "I love you with the love of the Lord. Yes, I love you with the love of the Lord. I see in you the glory of my King, and I love you with the love of the Lord. I love you with the love of the Lord. I love you with the love of the Lord. I see in you the glory of my King, and I love you with the love of the Lord." So now what I want for you to do is spend some time, and we're going to brainstorm, probably with your family. What are ways that you can be like Barnabas today? Think of people around you that you can encourage. And I want to encourage you to brainstorm with your family. What are things that you can do, maybe for your neighbors, people that live nearby, maybe for people you know from church? I don't know. Don't limit yourself, but I want you to brainstorm with your family. What are things that you can do to be like Barnabas and encourage the people that are around you? And take some time and do that. Then think about also, what are ways that people have been a Barnabas to you? That might be a great place to start with your brainstorming as well. Remembering how people have encouraged you is oftentimes a great way to encourage other people. So take some time with that, and then I want you maybe also to be writing some cards. Notes of encouragement are very good things, and I want you to send them to somebody you think might need encouragement. We had talked about sending to our elders and deacons and ministers before, but this might just be anybody you know. Write some cards of encouragement, and then you should send those to those people. That's a great way to encourage. But again, brainstorm. Don't limit yourself. And then I have one other idea that I think will be fun that you can do, and we're going to show you how to make this dip, and I'm really excited about it. I think you'll enjoy it as well. We're going to make a cookie dough dip, and this will be something that you can take, that people can dip and enjoy as a snack, and maybe it's a good way for you to go and encourage somebody and say, hey, we made this for you, we want you to enjoy it, and it's something that I think would be very encouraging and a reason for you just to go visit them from the porch, wearing a mask, all those things. Nevertheless, it's a way to encourage people. So we're going to show you how to make that, but again, let me emphasize, don't put yourself in a box that limits what you can do. This is a great way to do it, but there are also other ways to do it, and I want you to choose what works best for what you're trying to do. So let's go and make some of this dip, and it'll be a good time for us all. So we chose this recipe because it's one that doesn't require any heat or anything like that, so it's not dangerous. You can't burn yourself or anything like that. So it's a good one to do with your kids. You can choose whatever works well for you, but we have the ingredients here to make this, and I have a recipe for you. I can get this for you so you'll have this as well. But what you're going to need, 1/2 cup of butter, 4 ounces of cream cheese, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of vanilla. You will need 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream, 1 cup of powdered sugar, and then 1 1/4 cup of mini chocolate chips. So we're going to take all these things and measure them out and get them into our mixing bowl, and then we'll mix all that up. I'm pretty excited. I mean, what can be bad if it has powdered sugar in it, right? So we'll get to it. As with most recipes, you're going to mix together the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients separately. Now what we have done here, I got my butter, the cream cheese, brown sugar, salt, vanilla, and we are going to mix these things together in our stand mixer and just mix them. We're not going to cream them. Then we're going to add 1/4 cup of the heavy whipping cream, and we're going to beat it together till it's light and fluffy. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the mixer and get it mixing together. Okay, I've got that pretty well mixed together. Now I'm not going to spill my cream, and I'm going to add it into the mix. Sorry. And we're just going to let that run till it's light and fluffy. So now it's at a light, fluffy consistency. So I'm going to get my powdered sugar, add 1 cup to my mix here. We're going to go on a slower speed, otherwise we're going to end with powdered sugar everywhere. So we're going to do this until it's just mixed, and then we're going to fold in the chocolate chips. So we're going to go slow, powdered sugar. So as I was mixing in the powdered sugar, I found that I needed to get my little silicone spatula here and just kind of work the batter, I guess you'd call it a batter, out of the little beater here, and then scrape around the sides. But let me bring this over close so you can see what we've got going here. Nice creamed mixture. Then I'm going to take my 1 1/4 cup mini chocolate chips. I'm going to fold those into my mixture. Voila! This is our finished cookie dough dip. I have to say, I was cleaning the spatula off, And while I was cleaning the spatula off, I may or may not have tasted it, and it's all right. So that said, it might be something you probably need to make a double batch of, because the first batch may or may not make it out to encourage other people. Don't muzzle the oxen while he's treading out the grain, right? That's Bible. Anyway, this is a great thing. You can serve it obviously with fruit, strawberries, something like that is good. Pretzels. We have some graham crackers, Nilla wafers, or animal crackers are all good things for it. Again, it's a dip. Dip those things in there and enjoy. But the point is, find a way to encourage the people around you. Maybe it's taking them some sort of a dip. Maybe it's writing them cards and delivering those to them. I don't know. But be that Barnabas for somebody that you know. Go and encourage other people. Brainstorm and find a way to be an encourager. Anyway, I hope this has been a good lesson for you, and I hope it's something that you can do for other people. And I look forward to seeing you again on Sunday. Have a good week.